So this is what our boardroom looks like. Yep.
Yeah, on the right, right on the left. Well, good evening, everyone, and welcome back to our board meeting. It is now 7:20, 20th. Reconvening from closed session. Announcements of action taken in closed session, none. G, presentation. 1, LCAP, CSDU, excuse me, location indicators. Yeah.
Good evening, Board. Every year, we have to come to the board and present our LCAP and our local indicators. So what are the local indicators? Every district or every LEA has to measure the progress through what we call the California dashboard, and it's based on locally collected data. So every year, the district has to measure its progress during a regular scheduled public meeting of the governing board, and we have to report these results to the public. And then I have to add that information to the actual website. We are measured in the LCAP through different indicators. We have state indicators, like you see here in the yellow portion, the academic, chronic absenteeism, suspension rates, college and career, and college and career. But then we also have some that are local indicators, and those are the ones that you see in red, and those are the ones I'm going to be presenting information on. So the indicators are priority 1, basic conditions at a school. Priority 2, the implementation of state academic standards. 3 is parent and family engagement. 6 is school climate, and 7 is access to a broad course of study. And the state does provide us with specific tools to present to this data. The way we are graded per se is they give us 3 performance levels for the local indicators. If we present this to you and I upload it to the dashboard, then we're considered to have it met. If I don't present it to you and I don't put it on the dashboard, then we're considered not met. And if we don't do this for 2 or more years, there's not met for 2 or more years. Every year we met it, every year I present it, and every year I upload it. So the first one is the basic conditions that the LEA uses locally. And what we do is we have to report the appropriately assigned teachers, access to curriculum, which is our textbooks and materials, and then safe and clean and functional school facilities, which is our FIT tools that we do at the beginning of the year. This is how it looks like. We go into the website, you go into local indicators, and then you go to the one you want to look at. So this is what the teachers and instructional materials and facilities looks like. So last year, for example, we had 3 missed assignments. We had 0% of our students that were missing instructional materials, so we want that to be 0 because 100% of our students have that. And we bring that to you every October with the sufficiency of textbooks. And then the last one is how many deficiencies or Ds did we get in our FIT tool when we did the site walkthroughs, and we had 199 last year. So this is our data for this year, and I will be showing this data in separate slides. But missed assignments, we had 10.2 missed assignments. 7.2 of them were at Calexico High School. 1 was at Cesar Chavez, another one at Enrique Camarena, and 1 at Willie Moreno. And I'll give you more information in a bit. How many of our students had no access to instructional materials? The answer is 0, because 100% of our students did have access. And we did that during the sufficiency of textbook resolution back in October 2021. And then how many Ds or deficiencies did we have in our FIT tools this year? We had 58 of them, and we did not have any excess. And I'll explain more of that in a bit. This is the number of vacancies that we had by our CBET dates of October 6th. We had a vacancy in 6th grade at Cesar Chavez. We had 1 at Enrique Camarena for special education, 1 at Willie Moreno for science, and at Calexico High School, we had between both the main campus and CHS 9, we had 2 PE teachers, 1 sociology teacher, 1 chemistry, 1 algebra 2, 1 STEM teacher, and 1 biology teacher plus 1 section of biology. So that's why you have the 7.2. Out of those positions, I have a little bit more of data. Many of them were hired right afterwards, so we have some that were hired on October. Others were hired in November, December, and I think the last ones that we filled were in January. The only ones that ended up being vacancies until the end of the school year is the science teacher at William Moreno. We had a sub all year. And then a STEM teacher at Calexico High School THS 9th grade campus. And then that 1 section. We didn't have any of our biology teachers take the extended contract, so we had a sub doing that extended contract. This is the FIT tool. We do walkthroughs with a tool that we use, and we mark the different deficiencies that we see. So the overall rating that I included in here, on the left side, you see, is this one? Yeah, no, it might not work. But you see, like, Aurora had a 99.81% rating this year, which is exemplary, compared to last year, which is the parentheses percentage of 94.58. So if you look at all the sites, all of the sites had a much higher rating compared to other years. And this is the first year that we see many of our sites with exemplary rating. Over time, when I brought you this data, you can see how we started in 2017-18 with 213 deficiencies. And then I believe last year was the year that we went up to 199, but this year we came down to 58. Number 2 is the implementation of state standards. We have the option of measuring this either through a narrative or through a reflection tool. We opted for doing the reflection tool. And that reflection tool it's a survey that we asked, and we sent this survey out to all of our teachers and administrators who work with curriculum. If we scored a 1, that means we were at the lowest level. That was exploration and research. 2 is beginning development. 3, initial implementation. 4, full implementation. And 5, full implementation with sustainability. So we took the average of all our teachers' input. And so you could see here for the language arts component, ELA, we had a score of 4 out of 5. In ELD, we went up from a 4 compared to last year. If it's in black, it means it stayed the same. If you see different colors, you'll see if we went up or down. Next generation science standards, we went up from a 2 to a 3. History, social science stayed the same. So that was a 3. Did it move? No. Okay. So this part is the same thing, but this is now asking if we had the instructional materials. So for language arts, we went down to a 4. English language development stayed the same. Mathematics went down to a 4. And the reason that we believe it went down is because they're asking if it's aligned to the state standards. And we just finished the 7th year in ELA of the last framework, and in mathematics it's the 8th year. The frameworks for these two are barely coming out. So the next adoption should be coming up within the next couple of years. It was supposed to be done this year, but the state is still not ready. And then we have the next generation science standards. Those just came out, and we just adopted curriculum last year for the elementary, so we went up to a 3. We're still doing professional development for our teachers. And then social science we're adopting this year, and so we went up to a 3 for that one. This part of the tool is asking how we progress in implementing policies or programs to support staff in identifying areas where they can improve in the delivery of instruction. So in ELA, we went up to a 4. ELD stayed the same as a 3. For math, science, and social science, we went up from a 3 to a 4 and from 2 to 3s. And then this section is talking about the progress in implementing each of the following academic standards adopted by the State Board of Education that is not our regular content areas. So for CTE, the CT, and this was only scored by the CTE teachers. So for example, elementary teachers did not have access to this part of the survey because they don't teach CTE. But our CTE teachers scored, give us a score of 4, which is a full implementation, same as last year. For health education content standards, it stays the same as last year, was a 2, where we're at the beginning development. Physical education, a 3. Visual and performing arts, a 2. So all of these 4 stayed the same. And in world language, it went down to a 3 from a 4. Success at engaging the following activities with teachers and school administrators prior to the school year. Identifying professional learning needs, we went from a 4 to a 3. And then the other 2 stayed the same, which is identifying professional learning needs for individual teachers instead of a group. And the last one is providing support for teachers and standards they have not yet mastered. So we got a score of 3. So overall, we've been working with our staff. I know that through the remote learning, there's a lot of professional development that was focused more on the technology used during the remote learning. But we're going to continue to work with our staff, in meeting our district's instructional goals. We're still going to be implementing AVID strategies. We just went to a 3-day training in San Diego. We took over 60 participants to be trained on other modules for AVID. We are working with Orenda, as you've approved the contract in the past year, and we're doing the backward mapping process with our teachers, and so that we took another 3 days to do this with our staff. We focused on the area of ELA and math, and we are getting new adopted curriculum for the areas that are needed. So like I mentioned, the only ones that are pending in this next round will be math and ELA. Teachers will still be approved to go to specific workshops. So if there's a CTE workshop out there and a teacher wants to participate, we'll make sure that we secure funding for them through our Title I's or our one-time funds. We will also do specific content training when needed and when requested. We also have our district academic support teachers that continue to provide professional development for their school sites. Our administrators will be conducting classroom observations. And this time they will be with an Orenda coach as they do those walkthroughs. And then finally, we will continue to use surveys to see what are some of the needs for our staff. Number 3 is on parent involvement and family engagement. So for that one, we also use a reflection tool, and this is to seek input from our parents on decision making and promoting their participation in our programs. So the tool that we use for them has 3 different sections. We have building relationships between school staff and families, building partnerships for student outcomes, and seeking input for decision making. So when we completed this tool, we had a meeting with parents. We invited our parent advisory committee and our DLAC committee. And then some of those parents overlap and are also part of our migrant pack. And so this is how they rated us. We had a presentation of what are the activities that we're doing as a district. And then after we had those conversations, they began to rate us. So number 1, when we asked to rate the district and how they developed the capacity of staff, they gave us a score of 4, which is higher than last year by 1 point. Number 2 stayed the same with a 4. They rated the district on the progress in creating a welcoming environment for all of our families. 3 went from a 4 to a 5, and that's the district's progress in supporting staff to learn about each family's strengths, cultures, languages, and goals for their children. And 4, they gave us a 5, same as last year, which is the district's progress in developing multiple opportunities for the district and the school sites to engage in a 2-way communication between families and educators using the language that is understandable and accessible to our families. Number 5, they had to rate us on how we provide professional learning and support to teachers and principals to improve the school's capacity to partner with families. So that one we went up from a 3 to a 4. The number 6 is how do we provide families with information and resources to support student learning and development in the home? We stayed with a 4. Number 7 is the progress we do in implementing policies or programs for teachers to meet with families and students to discuss their progress. They think that there's a lot of room for us for improvement, specifically with some of the programs that we use. So we went down to a 3 on that one. Number 8 is the district's progress in supporting families to understand and exercise their legal rights. So that was a 3. They would like to see meetings where we take different policies and and rights that they have so that they better understand it, because they say we get the yearly annual notification, but there's too much information. So if you can break it down and do meetings for us, that would help. 9 is the progress in building capacity and supporting principals and staff to effectively engage with families and advisory groups and with decision making. And the data that we shared with them was how many of our parents are actually involved in school site councils and ELAC and so forth. So we did see a decline in the data, and so that's why they scored us with a 2, and that we need to work harder in building capacity for their parents and where they're not afraid of taking leadership roles at their schools. Number 10 is the district's progress in building capacity of and supporting family members to effectively engage in these advisory groups. We got a 3. Number 11 is progress in providing families with opportunities to provide input on policies and programs and implementing strategies to reach and seek input from and understanding groups in the school community. So they thought we were doing a much better job, and they actually gave us a 5 for this one. And number 12 stayed the same, and the district's progress in providing opportunities to have families, teachers, principals, and district administrators work together to plan, design, implement, and evaluate family engagement activities at the schools and at the district level. For school climate, we can use a variety of surveys, but what they ask is that we make sure we address grade spans in kinder through 5th, 6th through 8th, and 9th through 12, and to look at safety and school connectedness. And so we have to report the data and what the data meant and how we use it to do decisions for the district. We use the Healthy Kids survey and the parent survey. We also use Panorama. But the California Healthy Kids Survey is the one that we chose as to be the one for the district. So this year we had 1,830 responses. We had 505 fifth graders responding, and at the secondary we had 1,257 students that covered 7th, 9th, 11th, and NT is your non-traditional schools like Aurora. So when we asked about school connectedness, caring adult relationships, and meaningful participation, you're going to notice that we have some in red, some in black, and some in green. If it's in red, that means it could be higher or lower depending on the question, so it just means it's worse, okay? It's whatever the question is being asked. So how students feel connected, so for example, in 5th grade, we were at 74 last year. We went down 1%. That's why it's at 73 in red. For our 7th graders, we went from 65% to 55%, so we should be increasing the percentage, but it actually went down. For 9th grader, it stayed the same, and for 11th grader, it went down from 55 to 50. Caring adult relationships, again, if you see the percentages, they're all in red, because compared to last year, the percentages went down. Meaningful participation, all in red, so for all the different grade levels, the percentages went down. If you notice the percentages, the one that probably went down the lowest for this one is at the 9th grade level. We went from 40 to 23%, where students didn't find meaningful participation in this year that just passed, because we took this survey in January and February. When we talked about school safety and if they perceive school as safe, that's your first column going down. So it's all in red. So schools, now that students are completely back in person, our percentage went from 84 to 72 at the 5th grade, where they don't feel that the school is perceived as safe. In 7th grade, it went down from 72% to 52%, and then you see the 9th grade from 58 to 52, and then 11th down to 45. If they experience harassment, bullying, or targeted or mean jokes, the only one that reduced was at the 7th grade level. We went from 38% to 36%. For the other 3 grade levels, the percentages increased according to the students that were surveyed. So remember, this is not all our students, it's just specific grade levels and in the different levels. If they had seen a weapon at school, if you see it in green, 7th and 11th grade, that means that the percentage went down. They saw less weapons at school compared to the 5th and 9th, who claimed they saw more weapons. Alcohol or drug use, in all of the 4 grade levels that were tested, we have red, which means the number increased. Instead of having less percentage of students saying that they've used alcohol or drug, we had way more, with the greatest percentage being our 5th graders. Last year we had 5%, and this year we had 26% of our students in 5th grade respond that they had used alcohol or drugs. So overall, this is the California Parent Survey. So we asked the California Parent Survey. We also wanted them to see how they felt that if their students were connected, and we had asked them safety questions. So we had 1,189 responses. This survey was given in March of this year, and it covered all grade levels. Unlike the Healthy Kids, we give it to every parent. So if you look at the percentages, we had, when we asked the parents if they strongly agree that the school promptly responds to their phone calls, we had an increase in a percentage. So we have now 95% of our parents saying that they agree or strongly agree. When we asked them if they agreed or strongly agree that we encourage them to be active partners, that percentage went up by 1%. If we asked them if they agreed that the schools actively seek input of parents before making important decisions, that went up by 2%. The 90% of our students, parents, compared to last year, stayed the same, that they feel welcome to participate at their school. The next one is if school staff treat them with respect, that percentage stayed the same. And if the school staff take parent concerns seriously, that went up from 88 to 91%. When we asked them how teachers communicate with them about what students are expected to learn in class, that went from an 87 to a 91. If we let the parents know how each child is doing in school between report cards, we had an increase from 91% to 93. The next one, we had a 3% increase of those agreeing that the school provides information about why their child is placed in a particular group or class. On the bottom row, we went from 86% to 89% on agreeing that we provide information on how on their expected role at their child's school. Then for the next one, we stayed the same. If they agreed or strongly agreed that they provide information about how to help their child with homework. And then the last one on this one is how the school keeps them well informed about school activities. That went from an 82 to 94% compared from last year. In terms of, this is the one where I told you where the involvement is very low. If parents, we asked parents if they participated in meetings of the parent-teacher organization or association conferences. We went from 44% to 29%. So we had less parents participating in meetings. Then we asked them about participating in fundraising. So we went up on this one from 18 to 22%. If they had ever served on the school committee, this is the lowest percentage of our parents. Parents say that they really think that many parents feel intimidated serving in a committee like the DLAC or PAC or the school site council meetings. 24% of our parents responded yes to attending a school or class event, so that went down compared to the 31 from last year. 54 of our parents responded that they attended a school meeting. School meetings, only about half of our parents attend general school meetings. And then this one really went down if we asked them if they had volunteer in their child's classroom. So we went from a 22% to a 9%. And we all know that this year we were limiting the number of parents that could enter our sites due to COVID. So overall, I know that our governing board has made student safety a priority, and we hear that also through our safety committee. So the district still takes numerous measures to create a safe learning environment that is conducive to learning. And this includes even our reopening and all our COVID-19 precautions that we took this beginning of the year. The district continues to employ many campus securities or to supervise our students, as well as supervision assistants at the elementary level. We continue to do everything that we've done in the past with rerouting our visitors through our visiting management system. We still use Catapult as the emergency communication system for whenever we have any emergencies. We're developing the program we started right prior to the pandemic which is ALICE, how to respond to any active shooter or intruder event. Schools continue to implement different programs for behavior and social emotional learning. We have character counts, conscious discipline, 7 habits, the leader in me. We're doing a lot of SEL even within our AVIT strategies. We've hired an MTSS coordinator who's going to help us coordinate all of our academic, behavior, and social emotional supports for our students. And then we continue to provide the Healthy Kids survey and the Panorama survey to continue to improve in our services to our staff and our students. This one is more about the broad course access. Is how do we at the sites ensure that students have access to a broad course of study? So for that one, we could use a self-reflection tool, so it's not necessarily a survey that we take. So we reached out to the sites and we asked them to explain to us, how is it that they're tracking that the students have access to courses? And I know it's really small to see, but we use Synergy, which is our SIS program, a student information system, to track student access to a broad course of study. We also use Google surveys, especially at the high school level, to see what are the students' interests, and they develop the master schedule based on student interest. We also use the district's, we're trying to implement a 6-year plan, so we start preparing our students from the junior high as to what course of study they have to take and what courses are needed for their interest. In the past 3 years, the high school has been adding CTE and AP sections based on student interest. We're also aligning all of our CTE courses and our other courses to be A through G. Calexico High School has also improved our existing CTE courses, and we've extended the junior Navy cadet classes, so now we have it for 4 years. And we also have the CTE fire class at Aurora. We have a CTE facilitator who is supporting our teachers and our administrators with the alignment of the different pathways. And then Aurora students also are placed in classes based on courses they need to graduate because they're recovering credits. And then through Orenda, we're going to be working with our counselors to make sure that we're using on-track metrics for our students and ensure that they're placed in the correct courses. Junior high does something very similar. We're a little bit more limited at our options because it's smaller, and so teachers, we really need to make sure that they have the credentials needed for the offerings, but students are also surveyed to see what are some of their interests. The administrator, along with the counselors, review the different course offerings and enrollment to develop their master schedule. Students do submit applications for surveys, and then most of the elective classes that are offered at the junior highs include the designated ELD, Avid Excel, honors classes, STEM, STEAM, MESA, Avid 7th grade math, Algebra 1, ASB, Band, Career Awareness, and Spanish. For students with exceptional needs, case managers also review their data, and they also develop recommendations for our students, and they also have access to all these courses that I just mentioned. And again, we just mentioned that we're trying to put our, instead of going from a 4-year plan, we want to move into the direction of a 6-year plan, so our students start planning since they are in 7th grade. At the elementary, all students use the same, have the same courses. Band is offered for 5th and 6th grade students. It's depending on parent and student choice. But all students do receive Avid methodologies. Students are introduced to college and career pathways just so that they know that this is something they could take at the high school levels. We have SEL lessons and character education. We also assess students and provide supplemental programs to intervene, such as iReady, Lexia, Hefferty, Read Naturally, and ST Math, among other programs. Again, our students with exceptional needs have access to all of these courses. In addition, they receive their RSP services or are in a SDC class. And then all of our students are provided an opportunity to go beyond the school day and participate in the expanded learning program. And now with all the extra funding that we had from the expanded learning program, there are no more waiting lists. Every student should have access to the after-school program and summer school. The next one is a self-reflection tool also, and this is to express or to summarize to what extent students can have access and describe progress over time. So the different schools provided different information for us. So for example, at the high school level, during CTE or elective fair, high school students are presented with potential courses or offerings, and counselors create a student interest list. Students also complete registrations forms where they select the courses that they are interested in taking, and they monitor those registrations. Students also have access to dual enrollment classes, and we had a presentation from Mr. Victor Torres on dual enrollment. So those we're trying to increase the different options. At the junior high, again, the teachers submit data base core courses recommendations for the different content areas, and then the counselors and the administrators review that data. Students are all put into core classes, and then we look at what are some of the elective options. So our English learners, for example, have to take designated ELD as their elective, but we also offer other elections for our students who don't have to take the designated ELD, like ELA, STEM, computer, band, ASB, etc. Right now, there is a discrepancy between both of our junior highs, where Enrique Camarena, for example, offers Spanish, and at William Moreno, we were not offering it. And then vice versa, William Moreno was offering career awareness, and Enrique was not. So we've been working this year with both of our schools so that both schools offer Spanish and both of them offer the career awareness course. And at the elementary level, all students, like I mentioned, take the base courses, and the only really elective that they have is band, and that's by student choice. We talked about what are some of the barriers with our administrators and our staff for accomplishing some of these selection of courses and ensuring that students have access to some of the courses. And so many of them, what they said is just the time. So the instructional schedule is really impacted. So for example, elementary already has how many minutes for ELA, how many minutes for math. So there's very few minutes left for anything additional to it. Aligning the teacher credentials with master schedule is sometimes a barrier. So if you want to offer Spanish, but you don't have any teacher that has a Spanish credential, then you can't offer it. So that's some of the barriers that they found in the past. Having clear communication with students is sometimes difficult, or having the time to create a 6-year plan for every single student is a barrier. So we need to find time to do it prior to the beginning of the school year or at the end of the school year. Parent participation in selection of courses for their children is a barrier. Many of our parents don't understand what the student options are or requirements are. Limited number of elective offerings due to the number of students. So if you have, for example, 10 students that want to take AP statistics and we don't have the numbers to open a class, that becomes a barrier. For the elementaries, coordinating the RTI or the response to intervention time can become a barrier due to the instructional schedule and the demands. Teacher transfers to other sites can become a barrier, and then the need for curriculum that is specific to the visual and performing arts and the health, they find that as a barrier because we don't have that curriculum at the elementary levels. And then the last part is what are we doing with our LCAP and including revisions to make sure that we support all of these ideas. And so many of the actions that we have in the LCAP are very supportive of the things that we have here. So we have, for example, the communication tool, we have it in our LCAP. We have funding for extra hours to do 6-year plans. We fund all of our CTE programs through the LCAP. We also continue to articulate between sites on course offerings, and there's funding in the LCAP for that articulation time to pay for subs. We used to have a lot of math support classes, and so what we're doing is, as a math teacher retires or resigns, we convert one of those math classes to science so that more students have access to science, and they just have the regular 1 hour of math class. We continue to research supplemental programs that are research-based and effective, like iReady, for example, and we support sites with curriculum and training. We will be supporting sites with curriculum and training in the 2 areas that they feel they need additional support, which is health and VAPA. And then we will continue to increase the dual enrollment course options, which is for our high school students to obtain credits after school, college credits after school hours. So all of this data that I presented helps us to inform our LCAP. Much of the data I just presented to you, we present to our different groups when I do the LCAP feedback. And so every piece of data that you see here, they've seen it in my presentations. And so I think the one thing we need to really work at is providing language acquisition support for our English learners. We do have a goal as a district to have all of our English learners reclassified by the time they leave elementary so that they have more opportunities when they get to the high school. We also want to continue to increase our CTE courses, and we will and make them all A through G, and looking into how we can provide professional development sessions based on the data that I explained earlier in the for the different content areas. Oh, I think that's the last one. Any questions?
Excellent report, thank you.
Lisa, I have one, and it's towards the Healthy Kids Survey
Uh-huh.
in regards to connectedness and the safety. What do we currently have in place, or what's going to be implemented in order to make students safer and to make them feel more connected? What is it that we're trying to do? Because I mean, that's one of those things. If kids don't feel safe, that's another stressor that they don't need in their life. I mean, they're not going to go into class and learn what they're
Yeah.
supposed to be doing. You know.
So one of the things we realized right away at the beginning of the year, and the board was aware of the behavior incidents, the TikTok challenges we had at the beginning of the year, that was really impacting a lot of our students. And as when we know we provided extra support for the high school, but the beginning of the year was very rough for our students. We have been working with our teachers on how to provide social emotional learning and how to build relational capacity, because one of the things we tell the teachers is that the perception of the students is that teachers are not building that relationship with them. So for example, in the AVID training that we just took 60 of our teachers, in all of their instructional strategies, they're all built to allow students to build relationships within themselves, just with the activities they do, so that they start forming their, like a little family in every class, and they have that support in every class. We also have, through Panorama, we have modules or lessons that teachers can follow, and we're telling administrators that SEL, or social emotional learning, is not a program. It's actions. It's the actions you do. So the fact that, for example, on the first day of school, make sure that every teacher is out on the door greeting every student as they walk into the classroom. That is what is going to be build connectedness with the adults. And then the activities you do in the classroom so that the students are connected with each other are the things that are going to help us ensure that students are feeling connected. So we are doing different activities within the classrooms. Mhm.
Thank you
Thank you.
much, Ms. Ramirez. We go on to annual report for early literacy support block grant.
Good evening, board members. You might remember, and everybody else in the room and online, you might remember last year I was here in front of you presenting the Early Literacy Support Block Grant, the actual plan that we created. Now I'm here to do an annual report. It's just kind of like an update of the activities that we implemented or were not able to implement, and then the changes that are going to happen as a result. Next slide. Ooh, I think I have it here. So the Early Literacy Support Block Grant is part of the 2020 SB 98, which really looked at the 75 schools in the state that had the highest number of students scoring at the lowest achievement standard level in language arts. And so Rockwood Elementary was identified as one of those schools, and as a result they received just under $1 million to create and implement a 3-year literacy action plan. So as we were going through the professional learning before we developed the plan, Mrs. Fuller and a team of teachers, including the academic support teacher, we kind of engaged in some professional learning. We looked at school data, and then we came up with 2 different goals. And then based on each goal, then we developed, with the assistance of Imperial County Office of Education, a 3-year plan. Goal number 1 was that we would improve our knowledge and skill while implementing an explicit systematic foundational skills program with fidelity to address Tier 1 literacy instruction in grades TK3. So really looking at what was happening in the classrooms during the regular day and improving those. That was our goal. And then our second goal is really tiered or geared towards language acquisition. And so the site will improve TK3 students' language development skills by creating systems changes around Principle 1, which is assets-oriented and needs-responsive school, and Principle 2, intellectual quality of instructional and meaningful access of the EL roadmap, to address the TK3 learning environment conducive to learning for ELs, which at Rockwood, it's about 98% of the students are ELs, and the lower the grade, the higher the number of English language learners. And so really, with these goals combined, it was looking at our Tier 1 instruction and reading and our language acquisition of our students in TK through 3rd grade. So one of the things that was what we came to realize very early on in the school year was because of COVID, the COVID surges, the issues with the substitutes, and the issues with labor negotiations, we really had difficulty implementing all of the activities in the plan. We were able, the principal and the AST were able to conduct some PDSA cycles. ICOE came in during a couple days to implement some professional learning, but really we had put a lot of plan in extra hours and substitutes to do some professional learning and to do kind of learning during the summer, some stipends and things like that really just didn't happen during the last school year. What did happen, what we did see was that the students' BPST scores that happened during the beginning of the school year, and then they were assessed again at the end of the school year, which was supposed to happen 3 times a year, was only happening twice, but we really did see improvements. In the little that we did implement, we did see some improvements in the results. And the other thing that the site did, they purchased SIP's curriculum and Haggerty to supplement some of the weaker areas in their ELA curriculum. So what are we doing as a result of this last year? Really, we are looking as a do-over to implement the year 1 activities. And the biggest change in this plan is that instead of contracting with ICOE for a literacy acceleration specialist, we're going to grow our own staff and increase the capacity within the school site, and we're going to hire a site literacy coach to build that internal capacity. And the difference now, or the benefit to this, is that if the data shows that there is growth in the number of students that are reaching proficiency by 3rd grade, then there's an opportunity to continue this position beyond the life of the grant. One of the activities, if you it's a really small print, but if you look here, one of the activities that we had planned was for teachers to attend the course Online Elementary Reading Academy, which happens in the summer, and it happens throughout the school year, but it's a 10-week asynchronous course that teachers are supposed to take. Last year when it was offered, there were no takers, even though there was a stipend to go along with it because it was going to take time outside of the regular school year or during the summer. This year we already have 12 teachers that signed up for it. They are getting a $2,250 stipend because it's 7 modules. Each module takes about 5 to 6 hours. It starts in July, and so we already have 12 of the teachers that have signed up for it. Mrs. Fuller signed up. I signed up as part of the grant coordinator. Our MTSS coordinator will be supporting this, and she's also signed up. So they will be getting a lot of support. And we see Rockwood kind of like as a testing site because they have this additional funding to implement these interventions as kind of like a testing ground. And if it's successful there, then there are other school sites that have literacy grants or they have Title I funding so that we can expand some of these activities to the other school sites. And hopefully, because we know that even though Rockwood was one of these 75 schools selected, we also know that our students are struggling in reading across the district. And so we really do look to have some really good data at the end of the school year. So as part of the grant requirements is for me to come and present this to you so that we are transparent. We're currently working on the expenditure report. Our business department is helping us with that. And so we will be submitting this report to CDE by the end of July. And then we will all the funds that weren't unspent last school year will roll over into next year because we do have up to 2024 to complete the activities and see some results. Any questions?
No, thank you for that.
Any questions?
report.
Thank you for the report. H, comments from the public. The board will take any and all comments from the public related to an item on the agenda or any item of district business that is not on the agenda. Ms. Burgos, do we have any? Thank you, Ms. Burgos. Consent agenda, all items appearing will be acted upon one motion without discussion.
I move to approve items 1 to 12.
Motion by Romero,
I'll second.
second by Alvarado. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion passes 4-0. Consent items, Board Advisory Committee on School Construction, vetted items. 1, approval of proposal for the lease of the interim housing portable classrooms for the construction project at Calexico High School.
I move to approve.
Moved by Romero,
I'll second.
second by Cito Calderon. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes 4-0. Informational items, Superintendent's report.
Good evening, trustees, admin staff, staffing community. Here are some of our highlights for this month. The Calexico Unified School District Board of Trustees would like to welcome our new superintendent, Mr. Arturo Jimenez. We are excited to begin a new journey with Mr. Jimenez at the realm. He will be starting tomorrow, Friday, July 1st. So we're looking forward to meeting him tomorrow. Under Sparks, our Sparks team teamed up with the ARC Adventure to provide our junior high students from CUSD a day of leadership and team building activities at the San Diego Ski Beach. 24 students participated in the event, and the events included kayaking in the bay. Sparks staff also attended the California After School Network Site Coordinator Symposium in Sacramento. At the symposium, the staff participated in various sessions to learn about methods and ideas to create new programs for our students, and they are also engaged in several team building activities throughout the symposium. Our migrant education program summer school has started. Students are immersed in language arts and math with using the UPSI curriculum. In addition, students participate in a daily cooking class at the end of their academic sessions. The cooking class have created various items adapted to students' skills level, and which is a highlight of their day, cooking with their peers and teachers. In the regular summer school, we have the STEAM Rainforest projects, and here we have students involved in a balloon tower challenge and a rainforest projects where they're creating line drawings. We also have students that are engaged in several academic projects as each week progresses. So we do have our students doing a lot of the STEAM or STEM activities, in addition to literacy. We also have the Riga Magic project. Students work on a Riga Magic project. The task was to build something with a purpose using precisely 20 pieces, and all parts had to be used into a finished product. So you can see pictures of our students working on that project. We also have at both Calexico High School and Aurora, we have students that are participating in credit recovery. And at Aurora, they're also having fitness and other engaging activities. Lastly, we want to wish our staff and families a happy 4th of July and a restful summer break. That's it.
Thank you,
Thank
Ms. Ramirez. We'll go on to, to board reports. These are informational reports by board members, no action taken. Mr. Calderon.
Thank you, Mr. President. Good evening, everybody. Thank you for coming to our meeting. Welcome to the summer. It's hot already, and I'm glad to see that this summer, we're going to have a full summer pool program. I think we have already, or the district has already settled the contracts and everything else with the city of Calexico and everybody else that is going to participate in this. I see online that there are already schedules for the summer program, so I'm really glad this is happening. Our kids need that, our population needs that, so I'm really glad that that's happening. Thank you, Mr. President.
And you forgot to mention that it's free.
And it's, yes, exactly, it's free.
That's the most important one.
It's free. Gives
Yeah.
our kids and our citizens something to do during the summer.
All right.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Mr. Calderon. Mr. Romero.
Welcome, everyone. Thank you for joining us. I hope you have a good 4th of July and a good summer. I want to thank Dr. Thurman for having been with us several years. And when we asked him to step up to the plate as interim, he hit a home run. And he's done a wonderful job, and he will be missed. That's all. Thank you.
Mr. Alvarado.
Along the same lines, thanks everyone for joining us tonight. Dr. Thurman, thank you for everything you've done for this district. Wish you nothing but the best. Your endeavors there, I believe it's at Poway. They're gonna get somebody good.
Ramona.
Pomona.
Oh, Ramona, sorry about that.
Oh,
Ramona,
Ramona,
thank you for the
Ramona.
correction.
Ramona.
Other than that, have a happy and safe 4th of July, and make sure you guys are hydrated out there, because it's gonna be a hot one this summer.
That it is. Thank you, Mr. Alvarado, and good evening, everyone. Just happy 4th of July. If you stay in the valley, please hydrate. And again, like my peers were saying, thank you, Mr. Thurman, for stepping up and doing a great job for Calexico. And that's all I have. Thank you. Now, discussion and possible actions. 1, Inquest Group, Inc., Detection Canine Service.
Yeah, I brought this up because I think it's something that's needed, especially there at the high school. Getting a lot of calls from not only parents but also staff indicating that there is a lot of things going on there at the high school in between the buildings with students, possibly using or whatever it is. And I think this would be, I know we've used them before. What I'm asking if we could use them a little bit more frequently than before. That way, we are providing that safe environment. At least that's one of the things that's providing a safe environment for our students. There's other things that I want to bring up to the board, but this is just one of the things for right now to see if we could approve it. I don't know what we were using them before. I think last time it was just 6 times, right?
I have a little presentation. You want me to
Alright.
do it really quick?
Yes, please.
Can you put it on the computer? Okay, so this is just data from this year. We have been using them since 2018, so we do yearly contracts with them. In 2021, we did not have a contract due to remote learning, but for 21-22, the board did approve their contract on May 13 of 2021. The current contract that we had was for 22 days. They come 2 days per month, starting in August and up to June. The visit is $700 per visit, and it's not to exceed $15,400. We use it basically for the secondary sites, and we do have the funding for up to the 22 days. The alerts that we get, we have the following. So, for example, for illicit drugs, we had a total of 10 total incidents this past school year, which is equal to 40% of the incidents. Nothing on alcohol beverage, nothing on gunpowder. Medication, we had 3 incidents. Residual order, 9 incidents. Unknown scent, 3 incidents. Nothing on contraband, and on inspection conducted. So if we look at our chart, this is what it looks like, with the majority being the illicit drug or the residual odor. There are some alerts that are non-alerts that they usually do, but we just wanted to share with them. There was 2 alerts for tobacco and 1 for non-gunpowder based weapon. So this is what those look like. The administrators are always sent the incident report. And so I don't have the incident reports, but the incident reports are the ones that tell each site administrator for that particular day what was it that they found. They usually visit multiple school sites, so we get a report of which school sites they go to. We don't know which day they come because we don't get to know that. But then they'll let us know that, for example, they visited on September 20th, they visited Calexico High School and the 9th grade campus. On the 30th, they visited Enrique Camarena, Willie Moreno, and Aurora. And then they tell us the number of incidents that took place. So right now we have 2 visits per month at different sites. So we can go with whatever the board wants to provide for direction. We don't have the contract for this coming year, so this is the time to request any changes on the contract. So we're open to direction.
I also support Mr. Alvarado's item here. I think that we should look into, see what other resources are available out there. I know that there's more than one agency that exists out there. And maybe look and see what, maybe we can get a better price for this service. And it is needed. I support it. I supported it when I was working at the prison. I would bring the dogs from, the canines from the prison, and we were very successful in finding things, so I think it's important.
Yeah, correct. And just along those lines, I think it's something that we need to focus at least not once a month, at least twice a month there at the high school. I think it's something that's needed. At least it's gonna keep them on their toes.
Yes.
Because you never know when, you know, they could say, you know what, that's it for the month. Let's go ahead and start going back at it. At least this way, you know, if we could have been moving up even more for the time being, that way we could just keep them off. I mean, that's something that needs to be done.
Is it the same for Aurora, just for high school?
Yeah,
I
for
think
Aurora
for-
also as well.
Okay.
Yes.
So-
And I think the best thing is when they see the canine, they start flushing and everything else, and that's the best thing to hear, that they're getting rid of all the illegal stuff. So, yeah,
Okay.
we can look at it and have a plan so we can get it before the school year starts. I would appreciate
Yeah,
it.
so if
Okay.
we could bring it back, that August, the first
Yeah,
thing in
so
August.
we can forward some information as to what are the options, and then we'll bring it for board approval for August.
That would be great. I
Thank
think
you.
I
I
support
don't
that.
know how does the rest of
I
the
support
board?
that, yeah.
All right. So it's a unanimous, and just give us options and we'll go ahead and approve it. D, Dennis Welder Kelly, DKW contract.
And I think that was put on also by me. In regards to DWK's contract, the only thing that I wanted to discuss was, our negotiator. With everything that went on during our negotiations and stuff like that, I feel that we need to go a different direction, and that's the only change that I wanna make, you know, to DWK, is just, moving forward, not be utilizing that negotiator, and hopefully, you know, go out and try to find somebody that just, you know, as a resource, not, you know, in negotiations, but that's something that we could discuss later on. And I don't know how the rest of the board feels about that.
Well, I have my reasons I support this item, but we also have to remind you that we also have this law firm that is has several interests for this
Correct.
district, so
Correct.
we can't let them go completely.
Correct, and I'm just asking just for the
Yes,
negotiator.
I
Just,
agree with
I
that.
believe it's Mr. Pearl.
Yes,
They're still working on some of our litigation.
exactly.
Correct.
Here in
Yes.
Calexico, so I agree with this. So, when it comes to negotiations, I think we need to go a different route, but for the time being, they need to finish at least whatever they're working on.
Well, we're still using the firm, we're just not gonna use the negotiator in the future,
Correct.
so that's
Yes.
about it.
Yes,
That's correct.
So there's no change to this.
yeah, that's where we stand right now. All right, so everybody's in agreement?
Do we have
Do
to
we need to
take-
take an action?
I don't think you have to take
No.
action. I think what
No,
we need
just-
to do is just go through the process of finding a new
All right.
Direction.
options.
All right,
Right now.
All
perfect,
right.
thank you.
Thank you very much. M, action items, consideration and action approval of the following items. One, adoption of job description, athletic director, management. I motion to approve.
Second,
Second by Alvarado. All those in favor, please say aye.
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 Motion passes 4-0. Two, agreement between Calexico Unified School District and ARC to provide a comprehensive expanded learning program at Aurora High School and Calexico High School during the years of 2022-23 school year.
so moved.
Moved by Alvarado, second by Romero. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes 4-0. Three, agreement between Calexico Unified School District and Curriculum Associates to provide iReady as a diagnostic tool for ELA and math for 2022-2023 school year.
Move to approve.
Second.
Motion by Romero, second by Calderon. All those in favor, please state aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes 4-0. Four, agreement between Calexico Unified School District, After School Unlimited, Inc., to provide professional development services for teachers, administrators, support staff, and participant of student wellness project in the area of social emotional learning, SEL, for the year 2022-23 school year.
Move to approve.
Motion by Romero, second by Calderon Jr. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes 4-0. Five, agreement between Calexico Unified School District and Safety King System, Inc. for hazardous waste removal services for maintenance operations department and Calexico High School for the year 2022-23 school year.
Move to approve.
Motion by Romero, second,
I was in a second, but with just
Okay.
a quick question.
second by Alvarado with a question. Go ahead.
The total amount's not to exceed, the total amount not to exceed 26,894, correct? So it's not gonna go over that. If it goes over that, you guys will bring it back to us? Yes, we will. Okay, perfect.
All right. So all those in favor, please say aye.
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 Aye, motion passes 4-0. Agreement to renewal between Calexico Unified School District and Class Leasing LLC for the lease of relocatable classrooms at various district sites. I motion to approve with a question.
I'll second.
Second, Alvarado. Mr. Ocampo, can you tell us where these buildings or relocatable classrooms are going?
They're already here. What happened is we had the option to buy them with ESSER funds, and because of negotiations, we didn't buy them. So we had to distribute all of the sites. So, there's a total of 32 or 33. So we have to come up with a lease agreement because we didn't buy them. Their term expired.
Okay, all right.
And that dollar amount is just for that school year, for that lease, determined, or is that monthly?
That is for the school year, I believe. Yes.
So it's 45,000 then, correct?
Yes.
All right.
For the lease?
For the lease for the
All right.
school year.
All right, that's all. Do you have any other questions? All right, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion passes 4-0. Agreement between Calexico Unified School District and Sonar for electronics verifications of pupil, riders, bus, telematics, and electronic verified infection reporting for the period of 7/1/2022 through 6/30/23.
Move to approve.
Moved by
I'll
Romero,
second with the quick question.
second by Alvarado with a question.
Yeah, this, Mr. Campo, this is, in regards to, just to verify the riders and stuff like that. Do they also work, can they implement this also at the school sites, or is this just for bus?
This is the tracking that is
For
for the white fleet and for the buses, so it tracks the GPS, their location.
Oh,
their
okay.
mileage,
Yeah, that's
And it also tracks, what
Stops.
bus driver, the hours of service for each bus driver.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay.
Because it says electronic verification of pupil riders, so I was thinking about the students.
That's what it's called. But
Oh,
it's-
okay.
It's to verify verify the
All right, I was just thinking ahead. I was just thinking about when the students go in, that way they could check in, that way they know they're at the school site. When they leave, check out, that way we keep track of them that way also as well.
We can look into that if you wish.
Yeah, that's something, I'll bring it back for a later date. Thank you.
That may be a bit legally complex with student
Well,
biometrics.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying, that's one of those things.
Yeah. All right. All those in favor of this item, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion passes 4-0.
Just another safety.
Yeah.
That's it.
8, amendment of agreement between Calexico Unified School District and School City, Inc. for online data management system for the 2020-2023 school year.
Move to approve.
I'll second.
Moved by Romero, second by Alvarado. All those in favor, please say aye.
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 Motion passes 4-0. Memorandum of understanding between Calexico Unified School District and Imperial County Office of Education Consortium Teachers Induction Program 2022-23 school year.
Move to approve.
Moved by Calderon, second by Alvarado. All those in favor state aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion passes 4-0. 10, memorandum of understanding between Calexico Unified School District and Imperial County of Education for American Core Borderline programs during the year 2022-2023 school year.
So moved.
Moved by Alvarado,
Second.
second by Calderon. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes 4-0. 11, memorandum of understanding between Calexico Unified School District and Calexico Mission School for the scope of service and products during the 2022-23 school year.
So moved.
Moved by
Second.
Alvarado, second by Calderon. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes 4-0. 12, memorandum of understanding between Calexico Unified School District, Our Lady of Guadalupe Academy, and Vincent Memorial High School for the scope of service products during the 2022-23 school year.
So moved.
Moved by
Second.
Alvarado, second by Calderon. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion passes 4-0. 13, memorandum of understanding between Calexico Unified School District and CSEA, Chapter 399 regarding Juneteenth. I'd like to table this item as the district is still negotiating this. Moved by Alvarado,
Second.
second by Romero. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes 4-0. 14, approval of universal pre-kinder plan.
Move to approve.
Moved by
Second.
Calderon, second by Alvarado. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion passes 4-0. 15, adoption of job description CTE engineering teacher.
So moved.
Moved by Alvarado, second by Calderon Jr. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes 4-0. 16, Title I, Part A, school level parent and family engagement policy for all Title I district-wide schools.
Move to approve.
Moved by Calderon, second by Alvarado. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes 4-0. 17, revised single plan for student achievement for 2021-22 for the following schools: Blanche Charles Elementary, Cesar Chavez Elementary, Dual School Elementary, Jefferson Elementary, Kennedy Gardens Elementary, Maine Elementary, Rockwood Elementary, Enrique Camarena Junior High School, Willie Moreno Junior High, and Calexico High School, and Aurora High.
So moved.
Moved by Alvarado,
Second.
second by Calderon. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes 4-0. 18, single plan for student achievement for 2022-2023 for the following schools: Blanche Charles Elementary, Cesar Chavez Elementary, Dual School Elementary, Jefferson Elementary, Kennedy Gardens Elementary, Main School Elementary, Rockwood Elementary, Enrique Camarena Junior High School, Willie Moreno Junior High School, Calexico High School, and Aurora High School. Moved by Alvarado, second by Calderon Jr. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes 4-0. 19, 2022-23, designation of CIF representative to lead. I motion to approve.
Second.
That's for CIF.
Yes.
I motion to approve, second by Calderon. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes 4-0. 20, rejection of claim Mark Brian Ristra versus Calexico Unified School District.
So moved.
Moved by Alvarado, second by Romero.
Yes.
Yeah, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes 4-0. 21, variable term waiver 2022-23 school year for Daniel W. Johnson Jr. and Armando A. Lizárraga.
Move to approve.
Second.
Moved by Calderon, second by Alvarado. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes 4-0. 22, recognition of Booster Club, the Calexico Baseball Booster Club.
So moved.
Moved by Alvarado, second by Calderon Jr. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes 4-0. 23, approval of the Local Control Accountability Plan, LCAP, for the 2022-23 school year.
So moved.
Moved by
Second.
Alvarado, second by Calderon. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes 4-0. 24, approval of 2022-23 adopted budget and estimate actuals.
Move to approve.
Second.
Moved by Romero, second by Calderon. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes 4-0. 25, resolution continuing Board of Trustees authority to hold virtual meetings pursuant to AB 361.
So moved.
So moved by
Second.
Romero.
No, by Alvarado.
I mean,
Alvarado.
by Alvarado, second by Romero. Roll call. Calderon.
Yes.
Romero.
Yes.
Alvarado.
Yes.
Calderon Jr., yes. Motion passes 4-0. 26, resolution ordering election requesting county elections to conduct an election and requesting consolidation of the election and specifications of the election order.
So moved.
Moved by
Second.
Alvarado, second by Calderon. Roll call. Calderon.
Yes.
Romero.
Yes.
Alvarado.
Yes.
Calderon Jr., yes. Motion passes 4-0. 27, resolution regarding disposition of surplus assets and non-asset washing machines at CHS.
So moved.
Moved by
Second.
Alvarado, second by Calderon. Roll call. Calderon.
Yes.
Romero.
Yes.
Alvarado.
Yes.
Calderon Jr., yes. Motion passes 4-0. 28, resolution regarding disposition of surplus asset, non-asset classroom furniture at Jefferson Elementary.
Move to approve.
Second.
Moved by Calderon, second by Alvarado. Roll call. Calderon.
Yes.
Romero.
Yes.
Alvarado.
Yes.
Calderon Jr., yes. 29, resolution regarding disposition of surplus asset, non-asset technology equipment at Cesar Chavez Elementary.
So moved.
Moved by Alvarado, second by Calderon Jr. Roll call. Calderon.
Yes.
Romero.
Yes.
Alvarado?
Yes.
Calderon Junior, yes, 4-0. 30, resolution regarding disposition of surplus asset, non-asset vehicle at Felipe Vega facility.
Move to approve.
Second.
Moved by Romero, second by Calderon. Roll call, Calderon,
Yes.
Romero,
Yes.
Alvarado.
Yes.
Calderon Junior, yes. 31, resolution authorizing insurance of assignments for certificated staff.
Move to approve.
Motion by Calderon,
Second.
second by Romero. Roll call, Calderon,
Yes.
Romero,
Yes.
Alvarado.
Yes.
Calderon Junior, yes. Motion passes 4-0. 32, resolution authorizing insurance for assignments of certificated employees, Ed Code Section 44865.
So moved.
Moved by Alvarado,
Second.
second by Calderon. Roll call, Calderon,
Yes.
Romero,
Yes.
Alvarado,
Yes.
Calderon Junior, yes. Motion passes 4-0. And we ready for the?
I'm ready for it.
Yeah? All right. 33, certificated employment report.
The recommendation is the board approve the certificated report with the addition of Ortiz Belia at site district-wide for school psychologist position.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion passes 4-0. 34, classified employment report.
The recommendation is the board approve the classified employment report for June 30th with the exception of Leticia Jaime, payroll auditor at district office.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Alvarado, second by Calderon. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes 4-0. And reconvene to earlier closed session. We're gonna be going back, so thank you and good evening. We'll be back as soon as to report. Thank you.